it increases your ability to do better work. Better in the sense of more enjoyable work. So, I feel with age that you see more into what you're doing because now you have already done a lot, and then you begin to see that there are things in it that you could amplify, and it becomes for you more interesting. At one time, I used to admire all wonderful paintings by Rousseau and Picasso and all these great guys, and I would in fact do not copy them but paint in their manner. I just liked the work. But then this notion of, because at that time, then it seemed that you useless doing that because you have to be original. The whole thing is you have to be original. So I see now how the hell can I be original? Because I mean all these guys are here. I have to think of something quite different to that. So I never got around to finding out how I could do something. So when I came here, I thought this is too much of a thing. I'm going to go back to what I used to do, which is painting birds and flowers and trees and this and that, and spent all of my time doing that. So I'll tell you what happened. Earlier I could draw very well, like you can see, I could draft. So I used to do highly detailed drawings of nature and birds and all sorts of things. At that time, I was doing work chiefly being able to use my skill. But I also found that if you abandon your skill, that you say, I can draw very well, but if you let, who John Cage, it's through him I realized that you could, without exercising your skill, you could wait for something to happen and then use that. So now when I paint, actually when I'm painting now, I start off not knowing what on earth I'm going to do. If you have some idea in your head or you have a piece of blank paper, you have to wait a long time to get the brilliant idea that you're going to paint on it. In this case, I abandon doing that sort of thing and take whatever paint is at hand and some water, mostly I do watercolor painting, and put it on and see now what happens from there. So then the painting goes from one thing to another without you knowing what is happening really. But amazingly, in the end, it looks like a painting. And maybe it's like 5% I get bored with and throw away. But most of the work I do, I'm surprised at the end of it, you could say, well, that's a painting. I know people who say, my God, we'd like to draw, why can't we draw? Like Dominic's mother, Barbara Sansoni, who came to my art class and said, I don't know how to draw. So I said, don't talk rubbish, you can very well draw. Now, if you look at it like this, most children that you know, by the time they've reached the age of 5, are able to write complicated scripts. So there's no problem about your hand. But you write things in Q or various shapes. That's nothing compared to drawing a leaf, which is much simpler. So there is no problem about your mobility of your hands. In drawing, there is something about what you see and how passionate you are about what you see. And in a way, I think when I am drawing, like a bird, I want to capture it, but I know I can't do that. So therefore, you're drawing it in a sense of being able, like a photograph. You're taking it from there so that you can dwell on it. Lots of children who just like it, you let them be without trying to tell them what to do. You give them paints and paper and they have a wonderful time. When you see children paint, they are not at all conscious of what they're doing. They're not thinking of art or being original or all the things that go with art. And until they start, I'm afraid they start going to school. I know lots of young students who were in the art classes, but by the time they reach 10 or 12, they stop painting or any of those other things.